Hello everybody, how are you doing? Becky, Raney here, and I'm in the kitchen again making some fun, wonderful sugar scrubs and doing some great research. I thought, wow, we can do a lot of fun different things, and then I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. So basically I'm going to make 4 different kinds of sugar scrubs today. I'm going to make one out of coffee grounds, and that's very good for exfoliation. It's really good for smoothing out the skin, and even having if you have like a inconsistency in colors on your skin, it will help with that too. And we're going to use the Madagascar vanilla with this, so that's going to be really fun. And then we're going to also maybe think about doing some cinnamon. I'll do a smell test to see what that will be like. And then I wanted to do like an herbal, like, you know, when you hear of bath soaks out of tea, I thought it would be really fun to do a tea. And doTERRA in the past has sold these soothing blend teas, and oh my gosh, this is just really amazing. And they're really pretty too. There's like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a really pretty tea, and I thought that'd be really pretty to have in the sugar scrub. And we're going to use spearmint and eucalyptus, and that's just very herbal, just a wonderful, nice way of doing things. And then we're going to also do a lavender. And so I picked this lavender from my garden. So these are the lavender seeds, and I dried them out over the last couple of weeks, and they still smell amazing. So we will still use some lavender oil, and I thought, why not? Let's put some adaptive in there, because we can always use some extra adaptive. And I also had in my cupboard some of this joba beads in the purple color. And I thought maybe I could sprinkle some of that in there just to add a little bit more tinge of color. And then, this is a really cool one. These are rose petals that I dried last year. And look at, they still have amazing color. They're really beautiful. They still smell. And so we're gonna make a sugar scrub with rose petals, as well as using geranium essential oil, because most people don't normally have the rose oil. I do have some of that, but it's like $10 million per drop. But it's a beautiful oil. And in this situation, we're going to be selling these at the market. And so I didn't want to make the product too expensive, but just enough for people to enjoy and use the oils. So again, in this batch, I'm going to use the citrus bloom just because it just smells amazing, and a geranium. So I do have some coloring too that's really sparkly, and I'm not sure, this is a mica coloring. Micas are all organic, and so it's nice to make sure when you're going to be using coloring that it's going to be skin grade, something for cosmetic grade, and it's going to have you know, a nice effect. So we have then, I had purchased this organic sugar from Costco, and I always like to put it in a big container so it's easy to manage. It has a little bit of a brown color to it, like an off-white color, because it's not bleached. And so we're going to use that. Also, the coffee scrub sugar recipe actually will call for brown sugar. So I pulled some brown sugar. And we also need the fractionated coconut oil. So I like to use the Costco's medium chain triglyceride oil. This stuff is just really a good product. And you also have the solid coconut oil. Now, I have seen some recipes where they did call for some of this, and I kind of often wonder what that does to your pipes and stuff, and I was a little bit concerned about using this. I've seen some recipes that seem to be a little thicker, and it seemed like maybe they used a little bit of this. Now, it's so warm out, look at it's melted. This has a melting point at 75 degrees, so isn't that funny? You know it's warmer out than 75 degrees today. Then also another product that you're going to want to get will be the vitamin E oil. Now, vitamin E oil is a stabilizer for using other oils in your batch. And the other oil that we're going to use is the avocado oil. And I forgot to grab that from the pantry, so I'll see if my assistant Larry will get it from the pantry. And I also have some vitamin D3 in the liquid form. So I thought that I would add some drops of that. Again, back on the vitamin E oil, this acts as a stabilizer. And so you don't want this to go bad on you, right? And so it's good to have that. It's also yummy for your skin. And again, we like to, thanks Larry, we like to have the avocado oil from Costco as well. I just think it's a really good quality brand. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, pick out some fun jars to put the sugar scrubs in. So I have found these fun jars at Michael's. I think it was 12 of them for $12.90 or for $9.99. And I think they were even 50% off. Like it was just a really good deal. So you can always wait for a good sale on those. And then I had bought these wooden spoons from Amazon. I think it was like 50 of them for 10 bucks or something like years ago for Christmas presents to be making sugar scrub. It's just really fun. I mean, they're kind of, you don't get that big of a scoop out of it, but they're just really fun to put on the packaging so people know that right away that it's a sugar scrub. So I thought these containers were really fun. Okay, so you also can use canning jars. I've seen sugar scrubs in like miniature canning jars. I had bought these too, but I'm going to use these for something else. So stay tuned on another video. And I had, when we had our print shop, I was really smart. And I actually pre-printed a whole bunch of labels, knowing that I was going to be making sugar scrubs and stuff like that. But these labels are for our Raney Beach essential oil line that we use for doTERRA oils, because everything here is 100% organic, 100% contaminant free. Now, if you're unsure about like this kind of oil when you're buying it from a marketplace, you want to put it in the refrigerator. And if it separates, you know that it's not a good quality oil, because you know the oil market is very unregulated and it's hard to know. Now, so I also, what is the other thing I have? Spatula. And I think that we're good to go. So the recipe calls for, let me get my glasses out. The recipe we're gonna make one batch of each of these because I'm going to do four different kinds here, and I want to be sure that I have a good variety to sell at the market and see which ones sell first, see which ones are really popular. So I found this recipe online, and they were asking and calling for 40 drops of essential oils in here. And you guys, that's crazy. That just goes to show you that they don't use the pure oils like we do. If I put 40 drops of peppermint oil, you would be knocking on my door saying, what the heck am I thinking? I'm sure that probably 3, 4, 5 drops will be plenty of drops for this batch, because it's very invigorating. It's very loud oil because they're so potent. So we're going to go ahead and start. Let's see, which one should we start with? Shall we start with the lavender one? We're gonna do the lavender one first. Now with the lavender, I think that these little flower buds, if you will, are small enough to be able to put in the sugar scrub, and I don't think they're going to be effective as far as, I don't need to crunch them up in a blender. So we pulled the blender out because I wanted to blend up the flower petals. So I'm going to move this out of the way just right now, or maybe we should let's do the rose first so we can get this out of the way. So I have no idea how much I want to put in here. So I think we're going to just want to do it to color. So we're going to crumble these up. Might as well do the whole batch so I won't have to put it back on. And go like this. And you know, these little bullets are the best thing ever. Aren't they just awesome? Look at that. I crunched up all those petals and look at how much it came up with. Hardly anything. We're just going to go ahead and dump it in there. I like them when they're different sizes because it kind of gives a little bit more texture as well. And then I'm going to have, I don't think I need to wash that for the next one. I think the color will be okay. Then we're going to do 1 cup of sugar. So 1 cup of sugar, whoop, in there. And then we need 1/3 cup of fractionated coconut oil. And so I have my 1/3 cup, and this is the fractionated coconut oil. There we go. And then we have our, I think that was probably 1/4 cup of rose petals. And then we're going to go ahead and put a 1/2 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. And because I'm so creative, I love measuring, right? We're just gonna do a big squirt of the vitamin E, and then I'm gonna do a squirt of the vitamin D3. Now again, I use these for my salves and different things like that. So it just is a nice addition, I think, to have. And wow, this is really pretty. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just gorgeous. And I'm gonna show you here how it has a lot of nice texture. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm gonna add 5 drops of geranium. And then I'm going to add 5 drops of citrus bloom. And citrus bloom is a blend. And it's really a nice diffuser blend, but you can use it topically as well. doTERRA has, it just really makes it punch. It's really just wonderful. doTERRA has a lot of product in the citrus bloom, like a hand lotion and a hand foaming wash and a body wash. And I'm going to grab a measuring. I thought I grabbed one. This one here is 1/2 teaspoon. I'm just going to do a little bit of this because I don't think I have that much of it, but I just want to add a little bit of punch to this just to make it look a little prettier, because those rose petals were kind of a dark rose, and we kind of want to make it a little bit more red. And this looks really nice, you guys. So there's our first sugar scrub. What do you think? Now, some people, when you store the sugar scrub, the oil will separate from the sugar over time. That's okay. Just mix it up a little bit. And when you go to take a bath or shower, you can, I like to put it in my steam shower. So when I'm doing my steam, I like to use the sugar scrub then. But it's really beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and see how much this makes. And just put it in there. I'm going to get a different tool for that. Seems like the hole is just not quite big enough. And look at how easy and simple this is to make. It's just so fun to make. And how's that look, Larry? Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see very well on the thing, but okay, so there is the rose. And shall I finish that before we go on to the next one? Let's go ahead and finish this real quick. And this just smells so wonderful. You know, one thing about the rose and the geranium is kind of like the cheap rose. It just smells wonderful. When you actually diffuse geranium, it really has a beautiful smell. I personally don't like the smell of geranium directly from the bottle. For some reason, I never cared for that. But that citrus bloom is just so wonderful. And so, okay, so I think we've got enough sugar scrub here. And it's really important when you're doing bath products and things like that to make sure everything's all sanitized. So I had gone through and cleaned out all those bottles and everything. So we're good to go on that. Now I'm going to get a new bowl here for the next batch. And our next batch, we're going to make the lavender. And so again, we need a cup of sugar. And we wanted 1/3 cup of fractionated coconut oil. Oops, How did the lid get back on? 1/3 cup of that. Then we're doing a squirt of the vitamin E. And my mom's dog is barking. We're going to do the vitamin D3. Okay, and then I'm going to get my little stirring stick here. Put some of the lavender in. That's again about 1/4 cup of lavender flower buds. Or they're not quite seeds, I don't think. Okay, and then see how that looks? See how it's just all white with the lavender pieces in there? So I wanted to add some of the coloring to this just to kind of make it look a little more appealing. So we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of purple. And you can use this coloring also with soaps and bath bombs. And again, it's a Java beads, so it's, I'm going to add a little more. It doesn't seem like it's quite enough coloring. So this would be a total of 1 teaspoon. I just didn't want it to be completely white. There. And then we're going to do 5 drops of lavender and 5 drops of adaptive. Okay, and then we're going to mix that up. Ah, this smells wonderful. So I would use this sugar scrub in a bathtub before sleeping because it would be very calming, very relaxing to the skin. There, so isn't that pretty? So we'll just fill up 1 jar with this and then we'll move on to the next one. And then you can see all the different colors when we have them all done here. There. So there's the lavender. Okay. So lavender. Now we're going to do the herbal one. And so in the herbal one, again, we want 1 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of fractionated coconut oil, and I have just enough. Let's see if I can get. And then, okay, we got. There we go. Oh. There we go. Thank you, Larry. And then we're going to put our herbs in here. And again, I've got about 2/3 of a cup on this one. And then our mixture tool. And I don't know if you've ever taken a tea soak, but it's just absolutely wonderful. Herbs are, you know, they're like our bodies, so they're very soothing to the skin, very exfoliating, and this looks beautiful. It's just really pretty. I'm gonna have a little bit of a green coloring on here, and I just want it to be, see if I can stick this up here. Just a little bit, just to tell the difference between the different scrubs. And you always want to use a natural coloring. Just enough to give it a little bit of okay, and then what we're going to mix up with this one will be 5 drops of spearmint. I love spearmint. Now, I was reading some stuff that some people like to put peppermint in, and peppermint tends to be harsher on the skin. So if you do use peppermint, maybe not use as much with doTERRA. And eucalyptus and spearmint together, just that eucalyptus just is so, you know, you use it for helping with your breath and breathing and clearing out the airways. So it's very, this is wonderful. Now, if you want it to be a stronger scent, you know, feel free to add more drops, but you're going to get the medicinal values from each of these oils as you work on them, you know, as you're using the sugar scrub for your body. Okay, so check this out. This is really pretty, you guys. Just a little bit more in here. Cool. Isn't that pretty? It's got a really nice green tinge to it. Okay, and then now the next one, we're going to go ahead and this over here. We're going to do the coffee one. So the coffee one comes with a little bit different recipe. This one is 2/3 cup of brown sugar, and we just barely had brown sugar. So 2/3 cup of brown sugar. And I think I have a 2/3 cup in here. 2/3 cup of brown sugar. And I probably should compact it like you do in cooking recipes, just so I know what I'm doing here. And you can tell that I'm a person that likes to do things exact. Right, Larry? Okay, so then we're going to do that. Okay. Then how much coffee do we need? We need to put in here 1/2 cup of ground coffee beans, and it's just used coffee. It says you want to use coffee, which I thought was interesting. I'm sure, I mean, does it matter? I don't know. So here's the used. This is fresh coffee that we made today. That was exactly 1/2 cup. Incredible. Okay, and then we are going to do 1/3 cup of fractionated coconut oil. Glad we had that extra batch of coconut oil because we ran out of the other stuff. And then we're going to do the vitamin D3. And then again, the vitamin E oil. And if you're looking at doing your own kind of recipe, like maybe you have a specific smells that you like or diffuser blends that you like, maybe you have a specific skin thing that you're working on. Maybe you've got a wellness concern that you're dealing with. Then you can look up the different oils and figure out what ones you want to use to make a perfect batch you can use for many different wellness concerns. And this looks a lot wetter than the other batch as far as drippier, probably because the coffee beans were wet, right? And so I think I'm going to want to put just a little bit more sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and do the sugar just to make it not so wet. Yeah, that's better. So I added about 2/3 cup of regular sugar. You know, I'm just thinking out loud right now, but you know what would be really good to put in here would be some of that, it's black and it's in the soap that doTERRA has. Oh. Carbon, anyway, it's a very good detoxifier. And some essential oils that are really good for detoxing the body would be like cilantro oil or celery seed oil. So if you're like on a cleanse or something, this sugar scrub would be a really nice one to do for that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead, and it smells wonderful with coffee. We're gonna add, now this Madagascar vanilla is so strong, you guys. So I'm just gonna start out with just 2 drops. Okay, and then I'm gonna look and see how that smells. Oh my gosh, it smells like a latte. This is wonderful. Yeah, so again, this is a lot wetter than the other recipe. So depending on the kind of consistency that people want, we're going to go ahead and drip it in here. Ta-da! Maybe that's just a little too full. So wonderful. What we've done here is we've made 4 different kinds of sugar scrubs, and see if we can hold them all up here for you. See if we can get this lid closed. This is what we have. Isn't that great? So how fun is that? Super easy to make, wonderful gifts for your friends, and yeah, really healthy for you too. So hopefully you have fun with that. Hope you have like what I've talked about today. I'll be sure to put those recipes on the YouTube channel below, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would love it if you just liked my video, and even if you shared it with someone, that would be awesome too. So again, Becky Raney with All In on Oils, and thank you for joining me today.